Star campaigners. Disclaimer: this training material is for use in training of election officials. It should not be referred as guideline of ECI. In case of any variance in this training material, the Commission guideline, rules, law shall prevail. In this video, we will learn about star campaigners. Star campaigners are the persons who are nominated by the political parties to campaign in an election. These persons are, in almost all cases, prominent and popular faces within the party. There is provision of leaders, that is, star campaigners, in the explanation 2 of section 77(1) of RP Act 1951. Commission in its instruction dated 4th April 2007 has made it clear that a person who is not a member of the party cannot be nominated as leader of the party for the purpose of section 77(1). Star campaigners are nominated by the concerned political parties. The number of star campaigners are: for recognized national or state party, 40; for registered unrecognized political party, 20. The name of star campaigners to be communicated by the political party to the concerned CO and ECI within a period of 7 days from the date of issue of notification of elections. The concerned CO, after receiving the list of star campaigner, shall make it available to all ROs, DOs, expenditure observers and place it on their website. Candidate or political parties can apply for permission for meetings, rallies, temporary office and others 48 hours prior to the date of event, and this permission is valid up to 72 hours from the date of issue. During COVID-19 pandemic, Commission has issued some instructions. These are: the maximum limit on the number of star campaigners for recognized national or state parties, 30 in place of 40; for registered unrecognized political parties, 15 in place of 20. Period of submission of the list of star campaigners is extended from 7 days to 10 days from the date of notification. Request for permission for the campaign shall be submitted to the district authorities at least 48 hours before the start of campaign. But remember, these instructions are valid only COVID-19 pandemic. According to the Representation of People Act 1951, the expenses of a star campaigner shall be borne by the political parties. The CO shall also obtain hourly rates of helicopters or aircraft used for the purpose of rallies by the candidates or star campaigners or other dignitaries, which will be notified by the DO. The expenditure incurred by the star campaigner of a political party on account of travel by air or by any other means shall not be deemed to be expenditure by a candidate. If the advertisement for general party propaganda with photo or appeal of the star campaigner is made in print and electronic media without any reference to any candidate, then expenditure on such advertisement shall be booked to the account of the political party. If such star campaigner happens to be a candidate in any constituency, the expenditure on such general party propaganda, even if it contains his photo in print and electronic media, shall not be booked to the account of such leader, that is, star campaigner, as it is in the nature of general party propaganda without having any reference to his constituency. In the event of a public rally or meeting by the star campaigner, if the candidate or his election agent shares the dais with the star campaigner or other dignitary, then the entire expenditure on that rally, other than the travel expenses of the star campaigner, should be added to the candidate's expenses. If the candidate is not present on the dais, but the banners or posters with the name of the candidate or the photographs of the candidate are displayed at the site of public rally, or the name of the candidate is mentioned by the dignitary or the star campaigner, then also the entire expenditure on the public rally, other than the travel expenses of the star campaigner, will be added to the candidate's account of election expenses. If there is more than one candidate sharing the dice or displaying banners or posters with their names in rally or meeting, then the expenses on such rallies or meetings should be equally divided among all such candidates. The returning officer should pass on the information about the other candidates present in the rally to the respective ROs for making necessary entries of expenditure in the shadow observation register of such candidates. If the star campaigner is also contesting elections in any constituency, then the travel expenses incurred within his own constituency and the expenses on meetings or rallies organized by him in his constituency, including the travel expenses, are to be added to his account of election expenditure. If a rally or meeting is organized in the constituency of the star campaigner, where the leader shares the dais with other contestant candidates, then the meeting expense is to be apportioned to the election expenditure of the leader and all such candidates. If a star campaigner is taking part in a rally or meeting along with other contesting candidates of his party outside his constituency, then the meeting expense shall be apportioned to the election expenditure of all such candidates for whose election campaign is organized, and no part of such rally or meeting expense organized outside his constituency shall be added to the election expense of the star campaigner. If a star campaigner of another political party or a party in alliance with the party of the candidate attends the rally and takes the name of the candidate or shares dice with the candidate, then the travel expense of that campaigner of allied party up to the constituency is not exempt and should be added to the candidate's expenses. When a candidate goes out of his constituency to other constituency as a star campaigner, the expenditure on his travel from his constituency to the other constituency would fall within the exempted category, that is, shall not be included in the candidate's expenditure account, and so also his travel expenditure from the other constituency to his own constituency when he comes back for his own campaign would also be exempted. But once he reaches his constituency and travels within the said constituency, his expenditure on such travel within his constituency would be liable to be accounted for by him. A star campaigner, who is also a candidate, shall account for the expenses on hiring of helicopter, preparation of helipad, etc. for campaign within his own constituency. However, the travel expenses incurred for travel out of his own constituency for campaigning in other constituency and to come back to his own constituency are not to be booked in his account. If the candidate is sharing the transport facility with the star campaigner, then 50% of the expenditure, and if more than one candidate is sharing the facilities, then 50% of the travel of the expenditure is to be apportioned among those candidates. Actual parking charges of the aircraft paid by the operator or the candidate for parking of aircraft shall be taken into account. Expenditure on construction of helipads, including helipad site development and removal of dismantled material and parking charges, shall be borne by the concerned political party, irrespective of their security entitlement, and not in the account of election expenses of the candidate. A star campaigner, who is also a candidate, shall account for the expenses on hiring of helicopter, preparation of helipad, etc. for campaigning within his own constituency. If any attendant, including security guard, medical attendant, or any other person, including any member of the party, who is not a candidate in the constituency concerned, or any representative of the electronic or print media, travels with the star campaigner in his vehicle or aircraft or helicopter, etc., then the travel expenses of such leader shall be wholly booked to the account of the political party, provided that such person sharing the transport with the leader, that is star campaigner, does not play any role in election campaign for the candidate in any manner. However, if any such person sharing the transport with the leader plays any role in election campaign for the candidate in any manner, then 50% of the travel expenditure of the leader shall be apportioned to the candidate. All expenditure including lodging, boarding expenses of star campaigners in the constituency where they campaign for any candidate shall be included in the expenditure account of that particular candidate, provided that the star campaigners have actually campaigned for the candidate and the star campaigners have incurred such boarding and lodging expenditure while remaining in a commercial hotel or lodge for the purpose of election campaign of the candidate, irrespective of the fact whether the payment is made by such candidate or not. The market value of such commercial boarding and lodging is to be calculated toward the election expenditure of the candidate, even if the boarding and lodging is provided complimentary. If the star campaigner, while availing the boarding and lodging in one constituency, travels to another constituency to campaign for other candidates, then the lodging and boarding expense will be proportionally distributed as the expense of those candidates. Persons provided with Z plus security cover are permitted the use of state-owned one bulletproof vehicle for the particular person. Such persons, whether they are holding office or out of it, and whether they are candidates or not, shall be permitted the use of state-owned bulletproof vehicle during the election period covered by the MCC. The use of multiple vehicles in the name of standby should not be permitted unless especially prescribed by the security authorities in any particular case. In such bulletproof vehicle, no other political leader or worker, except his personal or medical attendant, shall be allowed to travel. If a star campaigner is provided with Z plus security, the expenditure, the cost of propulsion of state-owned one bulletproof vehicle will be accounted for in the party's account. If the star campaigner is a candidate, the propulsion cost of the vehicle in the constituency shall be accounted for in his election expenditure account. If the party functionary enjoying the security facility is not a star campaigner and he campaigned for the candidate, the cost of propulsion of the security vehicle used for such campaign shall be added to the candidate's account. The number of vehicles to accompany the carcade, including pilots, escorts, etc., will be strictly in accordance with the instruction laid down by the security authorities and shall not exceed under any circumstances. The cost of propulsion of all such vehicles, whether owned by the government or hired vehicles, will be met by the state government. If the star campaigner is a candidate, the propulsion cost of vehicle in the constituency shall be accounted for in his election expenditure account. If the party functionary enjoying the security facility is not a star campaigner and he campaigns for the candidate, the cost of propulsion of the security vehicle used for such campaign shall be added to the candidate's account. The expenses after the poll and before the declaration of result in connection with the election shall only be accounted for by the candidates. The expenses on travel of a star campaigner or a candidate after the date of poll, which are not connected with the election, shall not be added to the candidate's account. If the star campaigner or the candidate visits the constituency where he or she has contested the election, the travel expenses within the constituency for overseeing the counting arrangement before or on the date of counting shall be added to his account. If the political party is bearing travel expenses of star campaigner outside his constituency after the poll, the said expense shall be borne by the concerned political party. If a video van is used by the political party during the election process for general party propaganda without mentioning the name of any candidate or without a photo of candidate except a star campaigner of any constituency, then it shall be booked to the party account. If the name or photo of a candidate are displayed or any poster or banners of the candidate are displayed thereon, and the van is used in his constituency, then the expenditure has to be accounted for by such candidates. The account of expenditure done by the political party on election campaign shall be submitted to the Commission within 75 days of the completion of Vidhan Sabha election on 90 days of Lok Sabha election. If any star campaigner is carrying cash up to ₹1 lakh exclusively for his personal use, or any party functionary is carrying cash with certificate from the treasurer of the party mentioning the amount and its end use, then the authorities in SST, that is Static Surveillance Team, shall retain a copy of the certificate and will not seize the cash. When a Prime Minister or a former Prime Minister is a star campaigner, the expenditure incurred on security, including on the bulletproof vehicles, will be borne by the government and will not be added to the election expenses of the party or the individual candidate. However, if another campaigner travels with the Prime Minister, the individual candidate will have to bear 50% of the expenditure incurred on the security arrangements. Prime Minister can combine his official tours with his private election campaign visits, but the expenditure on travel of the Prime Minister on non-official visit was to be borne by the political party concerned. Official staff of Doordarshan can be deployed for operation and transportation of teleprompter equipment to assist the Prime Minister in delivery of election speeches during election campaign, subject to terms and conditions stipulated by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting for providing such services. If the Election Commission doubts that the assessment of security requirements under Special Protection Group Act 1988 or any other special enactment or instruction of the government have been manifestly or unduly excessive with the intention of promoting indirectly the electoral interest of a particular party or candidate, the concerned government shall be asked to take immediate and appropriate corrective steps. The Prime Minister's security requirements are governed by the government's Blue Book. Schedule 2 of details of election funds and expenditure of candidate expenditure is about expenditure in public meeting, rally, procession, etc. related with the star campaigner. Similarly, format for statement of election expenditure of political party in election to Lok Sabha or Assembly contains various informations to be filled regarding star campaigners. Details of election funds and expenditure of candidate, Schedule 2, is shown on the screen. Statement of election expenditure of political party in election to Lok Sabha or Assembly, point 5.4 and point 6.3 related to star campaigners is shown on the screen. Expenses by party center headquarters, Schedule 2, is shown on the screen. Schedule 10 is shown on the screen. Schedule 12 is shown on the screen. Schedule 21 is shown on the screen. Candidates should get the details of travel expenses of star campaigners like helicopters, etc. from the concerned party so that necessary correct entries are made in his account statement, and to inform the returning officer within 5 days after landing of aircraft or helicopter in his constituency about the hiring charges payable to the company owning or leasing the aircraft of the helicopter, names of passengers and name of political party if the party had borne the expenses for hiring. In this video, we have learned about star campaigners. If you have any doubt or want any clarification, then you can contact through the mail as shown on the screen. For other videos on rules and regulations and election related videos, you can visit the web address as shown. Thank you.